I volunteered twice this week due to my inability to last week. So Thursday was the first time I had been with the kids in quite some time, so not surprisingly, a bunch of the kids were pretty hesitant to talk to me, and I had a hunch they would be, so I decided I would have to initiate a lot of the conversations if I wanted to be able to interact with the kids. But on that note, there were some kids who did remember me, and they had asked me, they were like, "Why haven't you been here in so long?" And I was like, honestly surprised that they hadn't noticed me. I'd made that big of an impact on them, especially since I only volunteer once a week, and that would have been my third time being there. Anyways, Thursday was a pretty eventful day. There were quite a few things that happened that caused the teachers to kind of go off the book, and they had to adapt and kind of just go with the flow. And it was really interesting to see how a majority of the kids honestly were able to adapt and just kind of go with the flow along with the teacher when things kind of got a little chaotic there for a minute. But I was also able to tell from that the kind of kids who always want to know what's going on that day and like want to know the plans, because frequently I hear them ask the teacher what they're doing, like if they're going to recess is normally the first thing they ask, like right when they get into the cafeteria to eat lunch, and then that question's usually followed up with, okay, what's next, or like what clubs are we doing. And so it's kind of interesting because I have noticed like two girls who it seems like they really like to know what's going to happen before it happens, but they did good when everything got pretty chaotic, so that was pretty cool. It was also interesting, I got to notice like throughout the last couple of weeks, I've noticed like what kids like to do in their free time, because they usually have free time where they do Kids Lit during that hour before we go to clubs, and usually the same group of kids are the ones playing with the Pokemon cards. There's a group of boys who plays with Pokemon cards every single time I'm there, and it's super fun to just watch them because I don't understand it at all, so it's super fun just to watch them get into it, and it's always the same kids playing. There's also like a group of girls who basically every time we go outside for recess, they're like sitting over there braiding each other's hair, and I just remember like that's what I used to do sometimes at recess, so it's pretty fun to see like all the different things the kids like to do and how it like relates to like what we did as kids on the playground. This week I also noticed self-esteem issues amongst some of the kids. I mean, I'm not sure, I don't want to say they have self-esteem issues, but I've noticed like one girl, for example, she always like kind of walks with like her head down and like is always like super shy and like hesitant to like raise her hand, and that goes with a couple kids. Like I noticed they like never raise their hand during Kids Lit to like answer a question, and I don't know if that's because they don't know the answer or if they're like super shy about it, and they basically only raise their hand when they're forced to answer a question, like what club do you want to go to? They have to like raise their hand, and like if they do raise their hand, it's not like upheld like super high and like super confident. It's kind of like yeah. So it's kind of interesting just to see the different like ways. And one of the teachers had talked to me because I was like mentioning what I had to do for this class, and had mentioned how I wanted to talk about that, and they were like, yeah, I've noticed that within some of the girls, and some of the things we talked about were exactly what I had noticed. And I just think it's kind of interesting that girls in second grade and boys in second grade are having self-esteem issues, and it's honestly kind of sad, but I guess I just really didn't realize that happened at such a young age. And so that was probably the biggest takeaway I got from this week, was just noticing things that happened when I was that age, and then like comparing them to like how it is now.